Welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coach Show. With me today, I have head men's and women's track and field coach Dan Myers. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So it's been a while since we have you on, over a month now. It's been over a month since you've ran. The last time at Youngstown State on the 1st of December. Just recap, what happened there.
So it's been a little while, but we had a nice meet out of the gates. We didn't have everyone competing with us, so I would have said we probably had about 85-90% of the squad competing in our first meet. There was a lot of good takeaways. Overall, as a team, did we meet standards that we probably needed to off the bat? Probably not. But from a few individual performances and then looking across as many personal bests as we had, as a coach, it's hard to be upset. So I think we were about 18, 19 personal bests. We had Natalie Barr with the school record in the 3K. That was probably, Youngstown, there are a lot of mix of D1, D2, D3, NAI, JUCO schools that go to their meets. We were there for about 12 hours, so it was a long day. We didn't get out there till about 11 p.m., and we showed up about 11 a.m., so it was a long day. Natalie was probably in the most competitive race of the day. She had a top 5 performance and, ran neck and neck with a girl from D&E that she was, pretty much right with all cross-country season every time we matched up. So a few places ahead of her in the region. So they had a great race and great opener for her. Janae Scott, one of our freshman transfer throwers, she had a phenomenal opening. I foresee her, being someone to look out for future, school records in the throws. And then just our throws group in general had a pretty good day, as they normally do. Aaron Kuffner, who we were really excited about this year, threw him in the 60 dash along with the 60 hurdles. And that was the first time he's ran any short sprint event. So that was nice to kind of get him acclimated to that. And, we know that his big goals are for outdoor, but we want to see how much he can challenge kind of the top 5 in the 60 hurdles with like the wheeling guys and stuff like that. So, we have some things to tighten up. We need to get a little creative in some spots and find some depth. So, but overall, I was pleased with, the team's energy, right off the bat.
And speaking about working on things, you've had over a month to do that. As a coach, we talked about it during cross country. You would have maybe, I think you had once of 2 weeks off where you didn't run, but now you're about 5 weeks off since the last time you ran. As a coach, does that help you or hurt you right now?
It really depends what the group did over break. Mm-hmm. And necessarily, if they did every single thing that was on their workout plan, they're still going to be a little bit flat because, a lot of them don't have, the facilities that we do here at their disposal when they're at home. The weight room's a big deal. Luckily here, with as good as our strength and conditioning department is, they get them back into the swing of things pretty quickly. But I would say that basically the time off is dependent on more of a mental state, not a physical state, in terms of how they took the result from the first meet and kind of used that to their advantage or disadvantage over break, however they kind of handled it. Truthfully, the biggest thing for them over break was just to do something. Like, obviously, for the sprinters, we're in a speed development stage right now, which kind of stinks with where the weather is. Mm-hmm. So if they were able to take all the nice days and get outside and do something, that was to the best of their advantage. Luckily for me, as more of a distance coach, I see everything they put on Strava, everything they put on, everything they load from their watches. So from their standpoint, it's like super easy to see. And from a distance perspective, like all of them should see major improvements this coming meet because they just came off a time off. We had cross country season, they had 2 weeks off. And then basically it was like a time trial for them, the first meet. It went really well. And a lot of them were running off of kind of that cross country mentality, but they're in a much better spot, having a lot more workouts and miles under their belt since December 1st.
And taking that into this coming week, you go to Muskingum for the Muskie meet number 1. After, a long break, first meet of the season, what are your expectations there?
We're just excited to go to a facility that we haven't been to before. Youngstown's really nice because it is an oversized 300-meter track. And then we go to Muskingum, which is a 200-meter flat track, which you do run slower times on those. Like on our performance list, it'll show like conversions and stuff. So you get a conversion for any race with a turn. So anything 200 meters and up, you get kind of a conversion if you ran it on an oversized track. So a little confusing, but for some races, it's super, super if you literally execute the race to perfection based off your ability, you might even get a better mark on the provisional or on the conference standings. And honestly, like, we're just looking for a big team day. And I sometimes, the next Muskega meet we go to looks like it'll be a little bit bigger. This will be kind of in that 6 to 8 team range, I believe. Might be a little bit bigger. I just want us to bring electric to the building. I like showing up at these smaller meets with a team that has a lot of energy, and I think that goes a long way. And that way we're not as much deer in the headlights when we go back to like a Youngstown, which is going to be, another 12-hour day probably.
Huge meet.
So, we're just looking for the energy, the team energy, supporting everybody from event to event, and then just getting more marks on the board. I'm really excited to see, kind of how some things translate with another month of our new throws coach kind of implementing with all the talent we have with the throws. And then again, with the distance group, finally can run with some confidence now that they've had, 6 weeks of base training under their belt.
Well, Coach, we'd like to wish you luck on Saturday and appreciate you coming on today.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show. With me now, I have head wrestling coach Dylan Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So looking back over the weekend, I mean, a big weekend, 3 top 20 wins, 2 top 5. Just your initial thoughts on the big weekend.
Initial thoughts were that was a lot of traveling to get out to Northern Iowa and do all that. But no, it was awesome. It was a great venue. I think even for some of my guys, right, who wrestled and stuff like that when they were younger, it was maybe the biggest venue they've ever been to, right? Huge UNI dome, 96 teams there, 36 mats. So, a lot of moving parts. The first day we went 1-2, lost to Nebraska Kearney, came back, beat Tiffin, regional opponent. Nebraska Kearney's number 7 in the country, lost to them, beat Tiffin, they're number 20.
Lost to UMary.
And lost to UMary, at the end of the day, who's 15th. Honestly, in the first day, nothing really special. We wrestled okay. So had some ups, had some downs. The Tiffin match, we should have wrestled better, to be honest. We kind of, I don't say got lucky, but, did enough to get out of there and to make it into the second day where I wanted to be. I wanted to wrestle West Liberty. So, I had tried to schedule them and, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. So it was kind of nice that it happened. We had a starter or 2 out. They had a starter or 2 out, but you can only wrestle who you put out there at the time, right? And so second day we wrestled a lot better. I don't think it still was our best wrestling of the year, but I was happy that we found a way to win in those matches. They were both close. Came down to our heavyweight. Heavyweight won both of them. So it was great for Gavin Shamblin right there to get some stuff, and Ethan Hardy had a really rough first day after Midwest. He went 0-3 the first day and then came back and had 2 wins the second day, including one over the number 5 wrestler in the country from West Liberty. Yes, yes, exactly, right. He got tech-falled by him earlier in the year, got beat 20-4, right? Big change in that match, 9-5 win this time. Brady Ross showed up huge. Probably, for sure, the best match he's wrestled in his college career. He almost majored the guy who got 5th in the country last year from West Liberty. So we stepped up. I think we, in those matches too, right? You got Tiffin, you got West Liberty, number 1 in the country, you beat them. Lake Erie, number 5 in the country, you beat them, right? But also on that, those are regional opponents, right?
It is, yeah.
Those are the guys that we're going to be wrestling to go to the NCAA tournament, right? So I think our guys stepped up with that, right? I tried to bring the intensity a little bit more in that and make sure that, they understood, hey, we need to make sure in these matches, right, that these guys don't want to wrestle us again in a month and a half down the road when it actually matters, right? So, I thought our guys stepped up when they needed to step up. Could have been better, but I thought that overall, when it was time to go and it was really game time, right, on those serious ones, we stepped up as a team, which was nice to see.
I mean, you talk about You talk about guys stepping up. Gavin and Guy go 5-0. Brady Ross goes 4-1. You talked about Shamlin a little bit. All 3 victories, he was the clutch performer and getting that done. I mean, when you want to have big days like you did and a big weekend like you did, you have to have your key guys step up. Just talk a little bit about the performances of those guys and how key that is for your success.
Yeah, you find yourself, or at least I find myself, in those Gavin and Guy matches at times relaxing and, being able to step back and just kind of watch them do what they're good at. And that's nice. You need those horses, right? And Gavin's been that for a while. And I think Guy's I think this weekend was the first time that I felt that he was really sinking into that new weight class. He looked good. He looked really good. He's been getting the new attacks. I was really happy with his wrestling. And, Brady Ross too. His first weekend, he started at 184. This is his second weight class down, right? He's not going any lower, but this is it for him. But he, 4-1 weekend, beats a nationally ranked guy. He's just getting used to it. So yeah, it's nice to have those guys you can count on. But coming up here in 2.5 weeks when we go to conference, it's going to be the guys that are mediocre wrestlers right now, or not mediocre records right now, right? Or in their second or third in the conference, they got to win it, right? Those are the guys, we got to know as a team that Gavin and Guy are going to go out there and get it done, right? But these big matches, and that's Gavin Shamlin, right? He's probably third or fourth in the conference going to be seeded, right? But getting those big wins, that's something that has to continue. Guys like him, right? Those wins have to happen at conference if we want to come away and beat who, is the number 1 team right now in the country, right?
Yeah.
And that whatever the rankings are, I think NWCA. But, we get another shot at him, and we get a shot at him in a tournament format. It's completely different, right? Completely different. So we'll see here where the chips lay on that. But, I'm just hoping over these next several weeks we stay healthy, go into conference healthy, and give it a real good shot. Yeah.
Because over the past couple of weeks, you've had some time off to get your guys healthy. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. You went into some meets, about probably 7 or 8 of your actual starters. You've been down a couple guys. Now you come into the full throttle of your schedule. You have Fairmont on Wednesday. You go to Tiffin for the Super Regional 3 duels. Just previewing that and your expectations there, and especially now with getting guys healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's always exciting to see your guys, right, that have earned that spot through the year to be able to get to wrestle and out of injury. You don't want to see anyone hurt, right?
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
Anywhere or across the country, right? We want to wrestle the best guys, and you don't want to see anyone not have a season because of something like that. But yeah, it's exciting to see the guys out there. It's exciting to kind of get in a groove. That's what we're hoping over this next 2 months is to kind of get in a groove. Start, our competition goes down, not down, right? But it's not as crazy, right? The next little bit. And that's how the schedule's set up, right? That first month for us is tough, right? This is the toughest schedule that I've made in 4 years, right? It's tough. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the guys to, hopefully stay healthy and then just get a lot of work in over this, and this week, Fairmont coming up. We're not going to wrestle all of our starters there. They're down. They have a bunch of injuries. They've had the injury bug bad this year. So we're going to wrestle some guys there. It's going to be a cool event, right? Parkersburg South wrestling right before us. We have multiple guys on our team from South. And then this weekend, we'll see. I'm actually waiting on the schedule. I think the schedule is going to change for regional duels because we were supposed to wrestle Tiffin, Lake Erie, and Thomas More, but we just wrestled Tiffin and Lake Erie this weekend. So that coach is supposed to message me back and see. Hopefully we get Finlay in there. We don't have them on the schedule. They're the only team that we wouldn't have wrestled. So, yeah, I mean, still exciting no matter what, right? We'll go up there and get some more duels in and then come home and wrestle here before, we're at the Waco, which is a cool event, and then go up to conference, and like I said, that's right now what we're looking at, right? This training cycle is for conference, right? And then after that, you throw it over the shoulder, right? And then we do our last training cycle for regionals. So right now, that's really what I'm focused on is this block, this month training cycle, right? Once that's done, throw it out. Now we got another training cycle for a month, right? And then we go again. So yeah, that's what us and the guys, myself and the guys are looking towards is that this training cycle right here is really tough, right? And then taper a little bit for conference and go win a conference championship.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the big weekend. I mean, that was big for the squad, and just good luck this week. And we appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show. With me now, I have head men's basketball coach Bob Bolen. Coach, thanks for being here.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
So, Coach, first things first, just a little recap of the Penn State Fayette win on Saturday, the blowout win on Saturday.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys contributed. You know, it was great to get everybody in the game. And Penn State Fayette came in here a little bit undermanned. Their leading scorer, averaging 24 points a game, was injured. And I think we took advantage of that, really turned them over defensively, and we were able to get a lot of easy buckets.
He had 14 guys contribute on Saturday, so that's good to see the depth come in. The cat's out of the bag with Prince Masengo. Just your thoughts on his first game of the year, his first college game actually ever.
Yeah, he redshirted at Akron, so he hasn't played in a game since high school, like a year and 8 months ago. And he was a little rusty, but I was very pleased. I thought he handled himself well, and to get in here and have 7 days of practice, and a couple of them were 2-a-days. But to try to get in shape and do those kind of things, I was really pleased with his performance.
And then looking ahead to this week, first, Davison Elkins tomorrow. And one of the premier players in the league for the past 4 years, Sam Roll IV. Just how do you contain a player like that? And I mean, it's a big game coming back into conference play as well.
Oh, it is, and he's a really good player. We have a really good point guard too, and there are a couple really good point guards, and. You have to try to stay in front of him. He's really quick. He shares the ball well. Really solid point guard. But, we have to play with our team principles, our help defense. And then whoever's guarding him really needs to lock in and then try to stay between him and the basket.
And then looking to Saturday, Western Union Wesleyan, a team who struggled recently, started the year out with a win. They've lost 11 in a row. How do you just make sure that continues?
Well, Jagger, I'm not very good on these interviews when we look too ahead. I don't watch them 1 second until after the D&E game.
Fair enough.
And I don't know. I couldn't tell you one person on Wesleyan, but Wednesday night when we get back here about 11:30 at night, we'll start watching film on Wesleyan. But, on D&E, I've heard other coaches say it may be the best D&E team that they've seen in the last 30 years. I mean, they're solid. They're four-man. A foreign kid, number 13, shoots the lights out of it. Their two guard can shoot. Their big man from France is really active around the basket. They're well coached. I think they are a really solid team. And, when you take somebody, Fairmont's got a really good team, and D&E beat them by 7. And they lost last night.
Close 78-76 to Slippery Rock.
I watched every second of it. And, they lost that, and they had beaten Slippery Rock the game before break.
Yeah, it was like an NBA style. They playing back to back, home and away. It was a little weird.
Yeah. Well, it was like that for D&E, but it wasn't for Slippery Rock. They had about 3 games in between there, and that helped them. But I'm really impressed with D&E. But we've done pretty well on the road. We went and beat Notre Dame on the road,
big win, and
we got another conference win on the road. Who was that?
Looking at it right now, that would be.
Frostburg.
Yes, Frostburg. Yes, the big win at Frostburg. Yes,
and I'm not very good on that rear view mirror stuff, but we've shown we can win on the road, and I just know D&E is a really good opponent, and we're going to have to play well, but we're capable of playing well.
Because D&E comes in this week 10th in the Atlantic region, and that's saying a lot that this is their best team. Because last year, program history year with 19 wins, and they returned almost everyone from last year, including Sam Roll IV. But another thing, defense I think has been a big thing since the beginning of the year. The first 2 games were tough, but what's changed defensively?
Well, one thing, we got Jalen Johnson and Turbo back. We didn't have them the first weekend.
Yeah.
And, ran into a buzzsaw Gannon. They're number 1 in the region right now.
They're very good right now.
Yeah, and then I think that carried over a little bit into the Salem game. Then we had a week to prepare and get back, and then, we got Turbo and Jalen back. And, that it hurts your depth more than anything. I mean, we got guys that can come in and play. We beat Frostburg without Turbo. We got guys that come in, but when that happens the first week, of the season, and we thought that, well, Jalen played the first night a little bit, so we thought we had him, so you had no time to practice without him, and that made things difficult. But I think the guys have locked in on their help defense, gotten better on their principles, and we have been playing much better defense now.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Coach, we'd say good luck tomorrow, good luck Saturday, and I appreciate you coming on today.
Jagger, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you guys.
Welcome back into this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show. With me now, I've head women's basketball coach Emily Stoller. Coach, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me today.
So, Coach, looking back, it's been a while since you played, but the December 30th win over Carson Newman, just a quick recap of that.
Yeah, real talented team. From the jump, we knew we had to bring it if we wanted to compete, let alone win the game. But real talented team, like I said, and really well coached. Our girls played hard, and we came out with the win.
One of the challenges there was Braylon, I hope I'm saying this right, Weichel. She's now the all-time leading scorer at Carson Newman. Playing a player like that and, getting ready for somebody like that, how difficult can that be?
Yeah, so our practices definitely had to shift gear. One of our, points that we've been working on all year is our half-court defense, and we knew in order to win the game we had to, shut her down the most that we could. I think she still put up 28 points on us, but players like that, they're going to go out there, they're going to play hard every game, they're going to go and get theirs. So we did a good job at containing her at times. I wasn't happy with the times where we left her open on the three-point line, but players like that, again, they're going to go out there, they're going to play hard, they're going to get theirs.
Yeah, they'll find a way to score no matter what. And now looking ahead, back into conference play, you picked up 2 good wins in non-conference before restarting conference play. You're 6-4, and now you're up to 8-4. Looking at Davis and Elkins tomorrow, what have you seen from them, and any challenges there?
Yeah, they're a tough team. Their record definitely does not show for how talented they are. They beat Salem by a point. If we rewind back to that Salem game, we ended up hitting a buzzer beater to put us into overtime, and they lost to Notre Dame by 10. And we struggled against Notre Dame in the late in the fourth quarter, where they had to come back on us, and we held on to win the game. They lost to Frostburg State by 3, so Frostburg State beat us. So the record definitely doesn't show for how talented they are. So, and
looking at their leading scorer, Taylor Smith, only 10.4 this year. She was at 16 last year. Former Lady Pioneer, was a national champion. I know you didn't get to coach her, but looking ahead to that, what kind of challenges does she bring to the team?
Yeah, Taylor's a good ball player, a real good ball player. The transfer went really well for her last year. I think she'll pick up the pace here in the second half of the season. She's a real good ball player, and she'll maneuver around it.
And now you played on the 18th, and then you didn't play again until the 30th, and now, again, about a 10-day off. Is that difficult as a coach, preparing your girls? Because you play, well, now we're off for 10 days, 12 days. Did we play? Now we're off again. Is that difficult for you guys?
Yeah, more difficult than what I thought it would be coming back from Christmas break, that 3-day swing to get our girls back in shape and, get that Christmas dinner off of them. But right after the game there, we got back into it. We were still on our high from beating Carson Newman. And I think by the middle of the week, our girls realized, well, we don't have nothing to look forward to. So, we had to find a few things to do, fun things to bring in, a little mix into practice here and there to get their interest, throughout the week to, really crack down to get prepared here for D&E.
Well, Coach, good luck this week, and we appreciate you coming on today.
I appreciate you guys for having me.